Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to thepixellab.net. So I needed to make a fabric that was sort of woven together, and I stumbled onto this C4D tools.net preset called the Grid Maker, which makes some really cool grid patterns very easily. And the nice thing is it sets it up so that you can animate it very quickly. So I just wanted to walk you through really quick and make sure you're aware of this guy. 100% free, which is great. So let's go ahead and check this out. So once you download it, this is what you're going to get. This is the default base espresso setup. So we have our two different materials down here, so you can go ahead and change these depending on what colors you want. And then here's our grid maker, and if we click on it, we have the little tab on the right side which houses kind of all the espresso rig. So here are all of the options. So we can change the amount of rows and the amount of columns, and we can kind of expand the width of this thing very easily. And then we can change the thickness. I would not bump this up too high, otherwise it starts kind of distorting and running into each other. But then we have the hole size, and you can make the mesh tighter or the weave a little bit looser. If we actually go to our preview mode, if things are bogging down, you can use your preview mode, and then you'll be able to see what fluctuation is doing. And it's basically just raising the height of these splines. Now for the display type, we have our standard subdivisions, and then we have grid subdivisions and hypernerves. You can go ahead and play with all of that if you want. And then here's where you put the materials. If you want to make a completely new material, just drag and drop it into this slot. Now we have this animation tab, and if you go ahead and kind of play around with this, you're going to realize that nothing's really doing anything, right? So it's a bit confusing to know how to animate this thing. Well, what you have to do is twirl this down, and this right here is what you need to animate. So actually, you can't even click on this once. You need to actually double click on it. So double click on that, and then we're going to get this object, and it's going to have all these different properties. So you don't really want to play with the strength. That's going to kind of jack it all up. But the offset is something that you can animate. And let's go ahead and to and from, and now you can see that we're able to animate these splines on, which is really cool. So let's start at 0, and we'll make a keyframe and go to the end and go ahead and make a keyframe for 0, and now we're getting that nice animation, right? So the cool thing about this animation is that now if we go back to our grid maker, we have these animation options, which now that we've animated it, these are now in place. So the growth delay, if we turn that on, that's basically staggering the start times of these different splines. And it looks like we actually need some more time because it's staggering them by 50 frames. So I guess we'll just go down to 20 and see what that looks like. So now we're kind of getting that staggered growing on look, which is pretty sweet. So you can have these kind of weaves just slowly building. And then we have a delay random, which is going to kind of add some more randomness into it, which is really great. And then we have our spring, which is going to kind of make them bounce a little bit once they get to the end, so that they have a little bit more life when they're animating. So that is the Grid Maker, a really quick way to make weaved patterns. And this guy has some other examples on here of different weaves that he's made, including this one, which is very cool. So definitely grab this guy and play around with it. It's really nice that it's set up so easily for you to animate, and you can make some pretty cool designs with it. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. Enjoy it, and we'll talk again next time. Bye everybody.